Okay, so now we're talking to Joey's wife, Virginia, and she is from the line of a really early fishing family. And Virginia, can you tell us about your family and about the picture here that you've got to show us?
Yeah.
What?
I've been here all my life. I was born in Alabama. How my daddy met my mother in Alabama, I couldn't tell you because he was on Cayo Costa. But he did, and brought her here.
What was his name?
His daddy's name was Jesse Thomas Padilla.
Okay. And that's
He's the one that had all the fish houses.
That was your father?
That's my daddy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My mother was Velma Iover Padilla.
About what year was this happening?
Can you figure that out, Joey? What year Daddy would have come
He was
here?
up there back when they had the CCC camp.
Yeah.
Was up in before World War II.
Okay.
He was on a CC camp, yeah.
So do you know what year this picture was taken? About?
No, Lord, I don't know when they came over. They came over, I always thought, I've read so much about him that he was a young man that discovered that island, and he wasn't. He's old, and they had already a house full of kids. This was Juana Perez, and his was what was it?
Juanita.
Huh?
Juanita.
His name.
Oh, his name? Tariba.
Tariba Jose and Juana Perez.
Right.
She was Indian from Mexico.
Yeah.
He went all the way there to get a wife, I guess.
And so he had fish houses?
Daddy did.
Yeah.
No. There's so much about Cayo Costa I could never tell. No, they had, they found that island. He was from Canal, from, where was they from?
Cuba?
Oh, they worked over to Havana.
Yeah.
Oh,
They started fishing this coastline.
They came over here. He came over here as a young
Around
man.
1850.
Around when?
Around 1850.
Yeah, it would be. He found Cayo Costa and fell in love with it. And he went back to where they lived, and he brought his whole family. And that's how Cayo Costa got started.
Amazing.
My whole family's Padillas, Darners, on and on, and can name them that lived here. That we had so many cousins, we didn't know what to do with them.
How many children were in your family?
Huh?
How many children were in your family? How many siblings do you have?
In my family,
Yeah.
me, three sisters and one brother.
Uh-huh.
That's what I had. I had three sisters. My brother's dead.
He went to 12, 13.
Yeah, but Cayo Costa, I could tell you everything that I know about that and tell you that it was a wonderful island. Mosquitoes like to kill them. My Aunt Laura was cooking one day, talking, and I said, I want to go to Cayo Costa and live. And she said, no, you don't. She said, you go there. She said, mosquitoes will eat you up. She said, we'd be out there doing they did this with their washing. And she said, Virginia, they about killed us. It was full of them. Tony DeLacy, which was a policeman here for years and years, was born in there. And he said one time there was a lot of Padillas and Darners are dying. And all of them, just about, maybe one or two doesn't have cancer. So my Aunt Nancy, my Aunt Laura, I could go down to my Uncle John and my Uncle Julius, and I could go down to my people that died with it. And they said, Tony said, he believes it's because it was so many of them mosquitoes that they were burning mullet nets to smoke them out and buying stuff to put in. And
Smudge
he thinks
pots.
that that's exactly what happened and caused the cancers.
Could have been.
Daddy didn't have a cancer. He didn't die of it, but his family did.
When did he die?
Daddy died, I don't have no numbers. I gave one of y'all a piece of paper here to read.
You did.
It's on there. He was 47 years old and died, whatever that paper said.
72.
Huh?
He was 72 when he died.
72.
I think around 1980.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, but he didn't have no, he
85.
hadn't have a cancer. He had something wrong with him, but it wasn't that. That cancer and drinking here was bad.
Yeah.
Both. The cancer and the banking and drinking. The drinking was, they drank and used to knock each other out and have a fight, and everybody'd gather up and dance, and they said on Cayo Costa, there was that nothing out there. It's just a big old island with nothing. And on holidays, or on the Monday and Saturday and Sunday, yeah, they would get all of their things together, and they'd go out. One had a guitar, one had one of these things that goes like this.
Accordion.
One has one you beat like this. They had their own parties on Cayo Costa.
How many people were living out there then? Any
lot.
idea? A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing.
It started out with just a few people that told a few people, and people just, well, it was, actually my daddy, before he died, 2 or 3 years before he died, told the people by rights that it was not Lee County's, it belonged to the Padilla family, that whole island. And they said, had my granddaddy, which is him, went out there and said, put his name in, we would have owned the whole island, but they didn't know what to do. Sure. And so by the time Daddy tried to do it, they said it couldn't be done. And I don't think I wanted to live there now anyway, because after all the things I heard about it. But I do love Cayo Costa.
Yeah.
Not too many years ago, they came and said they're going to change the name of Cayo Costa. And you're like, what? It's been there that many years? My grandfather? Yeah. Who was they going to put on it?
They was trying to name that to Portugal.
Portugals. They was going to name it that.
He was the county commissioner that became, might have been a senator or something for a while, and from Sanibel. And they wanted to change it to Portugal.
Yeah. And he had probably never been on that island. But anyway, I got a friend, they built a house out there before they stopped the building, letting people build. And me and her went crazy. They didn't change the name.
Yeah.
It's still Cayo Costa.
Well, that's good.
Because why would they do that to a man that done all of this in a young age, years and years and years ago? Was that we're not good enough to have it Cayo Costa? We said some things. It stayed there. But Joey, what I was trying to get him to say, and I'm sorry I walked in when y'all were doing this.
Don't worry.
Was about the frozen mullet. He's telling everything, and people said there's never been no frozen fish in Pine Island. Wrong.
Yeah, we used to have winter.
Oh, they were frozen fish everywhere. Us kids went crazy. We're picking up those fish. One day, him and I was in the kitchen, looked out, and it was, what do you think it was doing? Snowing.
Really? What year was that?
We just stood there and looked for a minute. I said, it's snowing. It was. We had snow right there. It didn't stay long, but we had it. And there was just some things I wanted him to say.
One time when Maria was down, I was down in Marathon. You know where that is? I was down in Marathon, and had to come in because the coast front went by. We was offshore at nighttime fishing, and it got really rough. So I came in and got there before the fish house opened. It's still dark. So we got behind the wall to get out of the wind and started looking up. It was snowing in Marathon. And that was around, probably around 80, something like that.
It was cold. It was cold.
But I fished 3 or 4 times a winter. Big time, too.
A couple of things.
Boat loads of sand rim and Snoop with the 2 fish up front.
Yeah, the freshers, they were just like ice. You pick them up. But one of the things I wanted you to tell them, I was trying to say before you got turned off there, about the fiddler crabs and the way we got to town, and a postcard took us to town and brought us back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, tell
We
us
had
that
no
story.
way to get to town. There was not two people probably that owned a car
So-
where we was at.
Excuse
And
me, so by town you mean Fort
Yeah.
Myers?
we did not have a car.
Yeah.
Nobody did. I was way up in high school when my daddy bought a car, and he was in business. The postman came, there'd be 3 or 4 or 5 people, and he'd take them to town, all of them, and he'd bring them back. And then Ernest Gillihan, we had a place where you do quite where I worked, crabs. Yeah, they had crabs. My mother was working, picking out crab meat, and she's getting a check. And I was about 13 years old, and I thought, I need to do that too. I need to do that. So I went there, Mr. Piner, can I go to work? Virginia, you're not even old enough to get a car to go to work. And I just hung my head. He was such a good man. About the next week or two, he came, Virginia, I'm gonna let you work. And oh, good. He said, I'm gonna sit you by your mother. You pick out the stuff and it'll go into her name and she'll give it to you. So I didn't have, anything to cook. And I did. I went there at about 13 years old. There's pictures of me there. And at that age, they had a big old round thing. They throwed them crabs in it. And that's so bad to look at. They're trying to get out and they're cooking them. I wouldn't do it now. But I started with Mother picking out the crabs, and we got a thing full, they would weigh them. Then we got another thing through, they would weigh them. And then it was scallops. And I'd take the scallops and pull them out, and you'd have a thing this high to put the scallops in. And boy, I was going like this because you got paid by that. You didn't get paid any other way. But I made a lot, pretty good money back in them.
Where were those scallops going? Where did they ship them to? Do you know?
Where did the scallops go? Do you know they
New
sent?
York.
To New York?
Open fish market.
Yeah, they sent trucks down here to pick up the scallops and the crabs, but I wasn't happy just with making a little bit of money with the scallops and the crabs. I started cleaning them. That was the worst thing of all. At 12 o'clock at night, sometimes I got home.
Wow.
You wasn't afraid to walk that. You could walk this island anytime you wanted to. It was wonderful. I was never afraid. I didn't run. I just walked down.
Where was the place where you did the picking and the?
Where's what?
Where was that place where you did the?
Piner Seafood.
Where was that?
Was that what it was called? Piner Seafood. He did crabs. He did oysters. He did scallops. He did all that stuff in that big.
It was here on the island?
It was, right up there. There's still part of his stuff there. His house is there, and the little house where I went and got my check.
Right when you first come into Matlacha, right when you first come in on the right hand.
I know where you are. Okay.
The little
Yep.
building right there.
Yep. On the left in
That's the little
Matlacha.
store they had there.
Yep.
Right behind that.
Okay.
But they had
Yep,
boats
still there.
lined up all over the place. The fishermen would get off, and they'd do these boats and tie them up. And I was very, very young then, not working or nothing. And I'm watching them and I'm thinking, like a kid does, like they're stupid. That would be so easy to do. And I watched them, and one day I just thought, well, I'm gonna do it. Well, I'm a little bitty kid, and those thing, you do it like that, we reach a sky. I got in it. I picked up one of them so I could hit the water like that and stop moving. I started drifting down the road. And I was screaming, Mama, Mama, Mama. And Mama come, they had an old wood house there they was living in by the fish house Daddy owned. Mama went to the back and she's, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I was screaming, Mama, Mama. Ernest Gillihan came out. He got in his boat and went and got me. I got a whipping. But Mama got her kid back. But I thought it was so easy to do. But we had some fun, didn't we? I mean, stupid stuff. They'd go to the bridge, go over, jump over, and these guys would get up on that big bridge and go straight in the water. I'd stay there looking, me and some of the girls. They'd call us crazy, you can't do it. I'll bet you wouldn't do it. I thought to myself, I bet I wouldn't either. I never went in, and he did. He would go down, and all of them did. Daggum, they could have been killed. So then another thing that I always worried about and still get chills about, Mom and Daddy had a baby in those years. I was about 13 years old, it's me and Debbie. And Daddy would have to go to the fish house every day, and Mama would go keep the books, and I would babysit. And Debbie, as soon as my mom and Daddy left, used to be hitting the floor and screaming and reaching her arms out. Debbie, wait, I'll take you, I'll take you. Every day I had her in my arm, and I'd go across the bridge, and I'd set her on that rail. Do you know if she'd have fell off that rail, she would have died? She would have drowned, and she was a baby. And me and her laugh about that now, but I said, Debbie, I still wake up thinking about chills on me about if you'd have fell off of that bridge. But no, there's a lot of funny things about Pine Island, a lot of funny things about it. We have a park. Is it called a park? You can go to that restaurant, and if you go down that restaurant road, there's a park there. They used to have all the, what was it they had in it?
Park?
Yeah, well, every year they would have the.
They had a, or like fish fry, or like fish fry.
Yeah.
On the 4th of July.
Yeah, 4th of July, everybody on this island went. That was the most fun. Boats tied up, friends, husbands and wives, and we would just have a ball there. We'd get off of the bus. We had to go to we was on First Street. You'll see that when you go through Mount Lachey. It'll say First Street, and it goes that way. Well, we lived in that, so we had to walk from the house to the road for the bus, and we had to go to Fort Myers. So we'd sit down there sometimes for an hour or two, waiting for the bus to come, waiting for the bus to come. Still was fun.
Wonderful.
Except I had a fight with a boy, and he threw he took I had this thing, I was carrying my butts, and he threw it on top of a house. I think it might still be there. No. So I wanted them to have some of the fun things we did, Joey, too, because we did stupid things.
Yeah.
He went fishing before he wore his diapers.
We got still doing it.
He loved it. He loved
I
it.
can tell.
He was never happy if he wasn't fishing.
I can tell.
But
Yeah.
now he's sick and he can't fish.
Yeah.
Long, long years ago, but beautiful years. There was 3 fish houses on the island. There was Daddy had a fish house, 5, and it was just, they all was friends, but Daddy had the most fish houses, and my mother was actually the pusher. Daddy did he'd get the fish house and things. Mama would keep the books. And then they had the marina, and
Where was the marina?
The marina's in, you haven't seen that?
I don't.
Oh my.
Jug Creek Marina.
Oh, Jug Creek Marina.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're cooking food there now and
Yeah,
doing
they
everything.
are. Oh my gosh, they have bands there all the time.
When it was Daddy had it was a fish house. He bought that land from a cousin that bought it that didn't want it, and he built a fish house. Then he decided he didn't want it. He sold it, got another fish house. Then later on, he decided he wanted it back, and these people were going to sell it, so he bought it back. And it turned out to be a fish house and a marina, and it was wonderful. We had the marina. We had people, Joey and I did, coming across the bay to get gas from us when they could have got it closer. Mm-hmm. And people still say, oh, I wish y'all were still there. I really wish you were still there. No, we can't be. It's too old now. And my father's dead. But I mainly wanted to show you that this was the start of Cayo Costa.
Yeah.
Them 2 people.
Yeah.
And they had so many kids. I don't even know. I couldn't sit here and name all of them. The Darners and the Padillas and all of them put together.
Well, thank you so much.